eldritch presence is to the north that he seems to be quite concerned about. And we left off with the group having just left Izam's trading post and purchased a number of potions. Some of them obvious in their function, some of them not so much. And I guess that's where we'll pick it up. So there we are.
I had to mute it. It was too loud for me. I could barely hear.
Still too loud?
Well, it might have been loud, but I have my Chrome pumped up a little bit because I was watching some YouTube the other night, and like for whatever reason, YouTube was super quiet.
Okay.
Like
yeah, I've been trying to make sure
audio.
I'm trying to make sure I roll it back for you guys a little bit, but
yeah. I had the same thing that he had, where YouTube is super quiet.
All right. Well, anyway, you're outside of Izam's trading post in this Hemomancer settlement in the middle of the desert. What are you doing? If you remember, you have been promised a place to stay just down the road from Naren's place. So, well,
no.
Yeah, Trogdor kind of pushed his luck a little bit, if you remember, toward the end of that encounter, and Naren ended up sort of suggesting that he just stay with the rest of the group. Mm-hmm. But you all do have a place to stay in the essentially dormitories down the road from Naren's place. And to put things in perspective, it's probably like early afternoon, so it's not like time to go to bed or anything yet. Go ahead and make, let's call it a perception check. You do hear, sort of off in the distance, the sound of, it seems like maybe sparring or something to that effect. Just a number of, kind of the cries of combat. Nothing excessive, but certainly people pushing themselves. And if you follow those, you probably be able to find the source of them reasonably quickly.
Sure.
Bungdu will join. Bungdo.
Actually, will come along. She always likes some good entertainment.
I didn't know what you said, but I'm coming.
Like a turkey in the rain.
When I said that, Tiffany looked at me funny. I was using the other word for coming.
I know what you like.
All right, so yeah, you follow the sounds of combat, and after probably a 5-minute walk, just sort of ducking through some of the side streets and alleys in whatever direction seems the most direct to reach your goal. You do find sort of a courtyard, or what seems to have been a courtyard at some point. As with most of the architecture around here, a lot of the stonework has sort of crumbled and just eroded away in the evidently several centuries that these structures have been standing. But you do see a small crowd sort of circled around a pair of rather rather tall, muscular individuals who seem to be squaring off. And as you sort of round the corner and finally do get a full view of this, you see one of them hold out a hand and seemingly from nowhere produce a crimson dagger, just appears in his hand. And the other one, much like you've seen Naren do, holds out his hand and a staff appears. And the two sort of launch into this Dragon Ball Z-esque combat sequence where they're just rapidly trading blows. You see a number of times you do see blood drawn, but it's almost as though they have such control that they manage to not really bleed a significant amount.
Like,
well, they have wounds, but it seems as though they have enough control over at least the blood within their own bodies that they don't seem to bleed excessively from even, say, a dagger wound. It's there. You can see blood, but it's not gushing in the way that you would expect. Like, I mean, these guys are going pretty hard. And yeah, it's a bit unsettling for those who are a little more skittish about these kinds of things. But yeah, it's quite a spectacle. And you see, as these two sort of seem to reach their conclusion, another pair sort of step up, and each one of them seems to have a preferred weapon or something of that sort that they just produce and jump into combat. Mm-hmm. Yeah, more or less. He's just kind of, stitching up a couple minor cuts and things that he has on his face, and drinking a lot of water, as this is sweaty work sparring out in the desert.
I was gonna ask, how bad do these cuts look? Like, for
the
a
ones
normal
that-
person, how bad would it be?
I mean, like, especially given that this guy was fighting someone who was wielding a staff, it's not that bad. I mean, there are a number of like welts and bruises. He's got like kind of a half swollen shut eye. But it doesn't look like it would be life-threatening even to somebody who didn't know the art of blood magic.
Alright, I'm gonna go up with him, and when Togar's talking, I just wanna put my hand on the guy's face where the eye is swollen and lay on hands, feel his eye. Yeah. I would just want to try to open his eye up. However much that takes, you can decide.
All right, I'd say just go ahead and mark off 5 HP.
Okay.
I'm still absolutely absorbed with watching this,
Okay.
so I will just keep watching any of the sparring.
All right. So yeah, what's Togar doing?
Oh. That's when I touch him.
And suddenly he can see again.
All right. And, he takes a moment to respond, but yes. What would you like to know? Yeah, on closer inspection, you do see that he, like Noren, has sort of a golden bracer that seems to go just below skin level, sort of at his wrist, and there is just a bit of red visible and sort of this indentation in the bracer. He kind of pauses and just looks down at it and chuckles a bit, and he's like, well, yes, we would still be able to access our power, but this makes it just a bit more convenient, a little less painful. Yes, I could form a staff, as my opponent did, or even a larger blade, should I so choose. So it would behave largely like a dagger, though inevitably some of my blood would end up in the body of my opponent, which could offer me some sort of advantage. Yes, of course. All right. All right.
Still just there. Ah!
Absolutely.
You're watching.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Maya's just conjuring thoughts of her being able to not bleed out, like bleed a lot. And
So can you cast like ranged spells with blood magic, or is it only like a weapon like that?
Well, you you do recall that you saw something else at Noren's house.
What did we see?
I forget.
how did you forget this?
I was staring up like a turkey. I forgot.
Looking for.
Remember when Bonray broke one of his knickknacks?
And by Bonray, she means Octa.
Yeah.
Oh. You like made her sit down.
There you go. Not
Magneto was
necessarily.
blood.
That's not a bad way to describe it.
Actually, wouldn't I have had?
I mean, essentially with the Hemomancer Stone, what you're doing is you're drawing from the blood and the power of what you now know to be Naret. So, no, effectively, the Hemomancer Stone acts like a focus, and there are obvious consequences. But it's essentially a spell casting focus that does give you the ability to cast things that at times may be a little bit out of your reach. Yep. Well, as as you're still kind of hanging out and watching the sparring, you hear again this like deep voice, "My friends!" And look over and you see Naren sort of standing across the the courtyard from you, and he seems to be gesturing towards you and kind of gradually making his way. He doesn't really seem to go anywhere in a hurry.
Did you finish raising your family?
Completely ignoring what Trogdor says.
I'd still like to meet him halfway and ask him how his family is doing.
He just sort of pauses and waits for the rest of the group to join, given that you seem to be making an effort to meet up with him.
I'm gonna still be absorbed in the fighting. I'm not gonna meet up with him. No.
Grab her by like the of her.
Okay.
Come on.
I'll sidewalk, watching the fights.
All right. All right. So as you all sort of meet up around Naren, at this point, kind of about a quarter of the way around the circle from where you had been standing and watching the fights, he waits for you to sort of gather in and says, typically, I would not ask this of such recently arrived visitors, and you may be able to yet find some rest before embarking, but I was wondering, news has come of some sort of energy out in the desert. I have done what I could to confirm it without venturing out, as I am needed here. Seems old. Seems powerful. Seems like the kind of thing that we wouldn't want our enemies to get a hold of. And in fact, seems as though it may very well prove useful in disposing of those enemies. I would ask that at your earliest convenience you accompany a pair of my apprentices to attempt to find the source of whatever this energy may be. And if possible, retrieve it, or at the very least, ensure that no one else can get their hands on it. He kind of pauses as though he's trying to find the words to describe what he's sensing, and he says, I am not able to see or touch, feel anything in the physical sense. I merely sense a great power emanating from somewhere not all that distant. This is odd, as I've been here for a number of years, and I would think that anything of this magnitude would have been noticed. At least I would have noticed it by now, but this is new.
Maya will turn her head towards him and look at him. And can I do an insight check?
Sure. What are you trying to discern?
That he's telling the truth.
Okay.
Didn't click.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't seem to be doing anything that would indicate he's being anything other than truthful.
Okay. Noran, do you have anyone to send a message?
I suppose that depends. Where does the message need to go?
I would like to send a message to my monastery, to see if they know anything of this. And I'll give him a description of where it's at.
And,
We're a bit famous. In just like the desert area.
and he does sort of give a knowing nod as soon as you kind of begin to describe the monastery where you spent much of your youth. He informs you that they could certainly send someone there physically with a message, but given that no one here, to his knowledge, is already acquainted with someone, the ability to send a magical message is probably out of the question.
How long would a physical message take to get there?
Again, having not actually been there himself, he's sort of estimating. Probably looking at the better part of a week.
If it was me, I'd be faster. Yeah. I mean, probably should stop by there.
It first became evident to me not more than 10 minutes ago. Yeah, and you had sort of mentioned that a bit before as well. Yeah, you kind of gave him the lowdown on, at least where you had been on your adventure thus far. You talked about Charybdis, you talked about the cave with the zombies, and I'm not sure if you mentioned the Bodak or not. I can't remember, but I okay. I think specifically you did actually. You at least discussed getting out a worm. I'm not sure if you actually did get it out and show it
Yeah,
to
he
him.
got out the worm.
Okay. But yeah, so Naran is more or less caught up on your recent adventures, at least up until you left Drake's Landing and eventually made your way to Strassa. That's wise advice. We'll see if I can spare another apprentice to send with you. No, and of course, such a thing can be hard to find with pinpoint accuracy, but I believe you should be able to reach whatever this is in under a day's travel.
Bungdo just kind of shrugs and nods his head, yeah.
Yeah, we still got that barrel of water and whatnot, so yeah, we should be fine.
I give a curt nod.
Sorry, what? I was looking at something else. No, I'm good.
He just holds up a finger. One moment. And walks over to the circle where a number of them are sparring and training. And see him sort of walk up to a particular pair of individuals who are just watching a fight right now. And after a brief exchange, the two of them follow him back over to you, and he introduces them as Barnabas and Ord, which I suppose I should probably put in chat for you.
Really?
Okay.
Those are the acolytes' names?
Yeah. Yep. And as the two of them are making their introduction, he also turns back to sort of face the general direction of the crowd once more, and he calls out. Seems to pause for a moment. Vercour, come here. And you see actually the hemomancer that you had briefly had a discussion with about the use of daggers come walking up, and still visibly sore, but seemingly in decent shape. And he kind of looks at the party and over at Naren, and yes, what can I do? And Naren proceeds to sort of explain the situation to them. And says, I would ask you all to venture out to the desert, find whatever this is, and do what you must to, if possible, secure whatever this power is for our use in the fight against this evil force, but should the situation necessitate, simply ensure that no one else would be able to use it for evil. Yeah, I gotcha. Yep.
I just chime in, and just go by and touch all of their cheeks with one fell swoop. No. He'll eat for 5 if they need it. If they're full health, then I just keep with the motion.
So yeah, as Trogdor is going around and touching everybody's cheeks, in kind of this really uncomfortable way. Yeah, face.
Does my hand at least glow while this is going on? Because I'm just trying to do this.
As you're doing this, something happens.
I get attacked? Oh! Do we see this?
You see this.
Only I see this?
Uh-huh.
This is dream?
Trogdor, to outward appearances, seems to just go into this standing, almost comatose state, but just remaining on his feet. Unresponsive, his hands just dangling limp at his sides, eyes sort of glazed over. What was that?
Bungdo starts poking him with a staff. Bungdo starts poking him with the staff.
Is my arm just sticking out with my mouth wide open because I was like, oh! What did you say? I felt limp.
Well, I would say that the arm is probably slack down at your side, but the mouth can, of course, still be open. Not yet. And so this kind of lingers for 10, 15 seconds, and Trogdor, this view eventually does sort of zoom into the obvious focal point in front of you.
I'll just say, stop. He's, having a vision from his god.
And a few seconds after all of that is done, he seems to sort of regain consciousness. Maybe. Or the hell just happened? There we go.
Maybe. Otherwise, he just crumples on the floor dead.
Well, unless, Brown, are you still on roll 20?
Yeah, I'm still here. I see the white
never
and
mind.
blue sky.
It just, thing on my screen didn't work correctly. Okay. So, yeah. Welcome back to the real world, Trogdor.
I'm just all slack jawed. Just what the hell did I just see? Sure. As I was touching their faces, my vision just completely changed to. It was almost as if I was having a dream. I saw red desert everywhere and a big spire sticking out of it, made of rock. It was red.
Not quite. No. Yeah, there's a little bit more to what Trogdor saw.
Was it floating off the ground?
No, it wasn't.
I remember that it was the little hole.
Yeah, there you go. You might be onto something.
But I thought under that further, it looked like it was kind of floating slightly up. Can we go back to it, please? Oh, okay. So it's like a plateau with a spire on the top of that.
Yeah.
Okay. And it looks like it's coming out of like a valley or a gully. What is it considered?
Yeah, probably a valley of some sort. It's like the divine equivalent of what? What was? Can you? What? When it gets uncomfortable and you have to say what 3 or 4 times.
What? What?
I'm sorry, I don't.
Alright. Yeah, I'll describe the red rock pillar was on top of a plateau, and at the base of it there was a big hole through it, and
Like
looked
a
like
doorway, or of the spire, or at the bottom of the plateau.
bottom of the plateau. It wasn't. I don't think it was a door. It looked like it was just a big hole going all the way through the plateau.
Tunnel.
Yeah, like a tunnel.
And actually, as Trogdor's view sort of zooms in, you can see that it's not an open cave so much as there is a large stone of some sort that almost seems to be wedged into this hole.
Oh, it's not a. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just for clarification.
Wait, so am I still having the vision while I'm talking?
No, you're not. I'm just leaving this so you can, kind of convey effectively to the rest of the party since I am not letting them see this.
Oh, they can't see this.
They can't see this.
I
You are
thought
the only
everyone
one.
I thought everyone could see it.
No.
Nope.
Jeez. Alright, so yeah, where that hole was actually a big, like, rock wedged into it. I guess that was what potentially created the hole. And then leading up to this big plateau, it looked like you were walking out of a valley of sorts, and there was a big obelisk around, or not around, but right before the plateau itself.
Again, it takes him a moment as he seems to know a great deal about the area around and says, could be, suppose that could be the other far end of the Whispering Valley.
There was
The only
also
thing-
other plateaus around, but the other ones didn't look like they have spires on them.
That would seem to make sense. Seems at least reasonably close.
By the way, did I see? Wait, is this part of my vision too, or is everyone seeing?
This is what everyone sees.
Okay. Ah, beautiful blue sky. Yeah.
Yep. All right. So,
What's having like an out of body experience?
So, Naren just sort of gives a quick nod to his apprentices who will be accompanying you, and says, "You know the way. Lead them well. Be safe. Come back alive." And with
I
that,
don't trust him.
I mean, he was just going to send the two of them with you, which by all rights probably wouldn't be enough to take on a group of 5 adventurers, you would think. But, you guys asked for backup, so now you got 3. So that's what you got. If it's an ambush, then you guys talked yourself into a tougher ambush.
Did Ryan come with us as well?
No, he has to stay and sort of. But
I need my big kahuna of the tribe.
essentially, yeah.
Show him some side boob.
The apprentices have already sort of taken their first couple steps, and they're all kind of like turned back and waiting for you. Okay. All right. Okay. So, they continue toward the northern reaches of the settlement, walking at a somewhat brisk pace. Within 10 to 15 minutes, you've kind of breached the outer walls of the Hemomanther settlement and find yourselves once again in the scorching heat of the desert at the southern tip of Acuria. It's a long, kind of really dull hike for the first 2-3 hours. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. So yeah, first 2-3 hours go by pretty uneventfully, mostly just kind of rolling hills like sand dunes until eventually you come to what essentially looks like the other end of the basin that you kind of saw when you approached. You know, you were kind of on the elevated ground as you approached and had to make your way down into the basin. Now it seems you're finding the wall, and from a distance it looks as though you're walking just straight toward a stone wall, and it's entirely well, it seems as though that they're leading you toward just having to scale this thing. But as you kind of get a bit closer, and the visual distortion of the heat rising from the sand lessens to a point where you have a clearer view, you do see that there is a narrow valley sort of set into this basin wall. Probably 15 feet wide, its widest point. Sort of. I mean, it's deep. It's just narrow.
Tiny canyon.
It's like one of those.
Yeah, except instead of 6 or 8, it's more like 100. Yeah.
No.
Like a tiny little canyon.
Yeah, you're essentially, yeah, it's basically a small canyon. That's...
You're in ambush territory. That's what you're in.
You don't know.
This is like, you know.
All right. So, yes, they lead you to the sort of lip of this canyon, like the very, well, the mouth of the canyon, I guess would be, and say, would you like us to lead the way, or would you prefer one of us took up the rear? You are still, in a sense, guests in our land, so we will do what we must to protect you. Sort of nods.
I will help lead. Yeah, they can go up front, but I want to be like right up there near them as well.
I'm actually gonna take up. Actually,
Yeah,
take up the rear.
I'll be in the back with Octa.
Okay.
I'm just like right next to y'all, just walking along, frolicking. Yeah, yes.
Using your druidic power to create little tulips, and you're tiptoeing through them.
Tiptoe flowers.
Yeah, you can create little flowers and stuff.
Yeah.
So you just.
I don't. Well, I mean, if you have to learn it, I don't. But I don't know if it's actually natural to druids or not. It might be a cantrip. Yeah, and if it's like a cantrip, though.
Yes.
Yeah, I should be able to just
You
use
don't-
it. I'm not sure.
Guess I'll open up my handbook.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, just because I can do it though, doesn't mean I am right now.
It was just a suggestion.
You're gonna make some flowers, you're gonna fucking like it.
All right. So the 3 apprentices take the lead going through the valley. Sort of a 1 followed by 2 followed by the rest of the group. given that this canyon is only essentially 3 spaces wide, can I get a marching order from you guys?
I want to be up where close as I can be to the guys that are in front that are leading us.
Okay. Okay. Well,
It's 1-2.
yeah. So like all 3 of the apprentices are kind of up front. You've got, yeah. That's what you kind of settled on with them. So.
I'll be in the middle space, the row behind them.
I'll be next to Trogdor.
Okay. All right. And so that leaves Maya and Octa sort of bringing up the rear.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Kind of makes sense because they'd walk together anyways.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
How we're gonna beat you up later.
Bungdo shoots you the stink eye.
The all-knowing stink eye. Yeah. Okay.
Hey, Dirty Craft is a cantrip.
Sweet.
Well, there you go. So yeah, you begin walking through this long, deep, narrow valley, cavern, what have you. And as you enter, you can't even see an end to this thing. You see it sort of gently wind off to your right a bit. But you really have no notion of how long you'll be here, walking in this line. The apprentices. Okay. Go ahead and make a perception check.
I am being very watchful because I don't trust this crevice.
I'm focusing on the front and sides directly to my side and forward.
Okay.
I kind of like survey, do like a turret survey, or like she'll look behind her every so once in a while.
All right. So Togar, based off that roll, I would say it's kind of hard to see what's going on behind you. The just general distortion.
You calling me fat?
No, I am not.
We're not saying you're fat. We're just saying we can't see anything behind you.
You're bigger than me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's difficult to really tell what's going on back there. Anyone else have anything specifically that they'd like to look for? I mean, I'd give you a perception check if you'd
I guess
like
I'll
to
just
specify.
look for that vision I had, see if I can see it.
Okay. Yeah, well, I mean, from here you can't really see much because you're surrounded by 100-foot walls on either side, and just.
I'm gonna see if I can see anything above us.
Okay.
There is a sky.
There is indeed a sky.
Just keeping out for when I do see that.
I want to see if I hear anything,
Okay. Go ahead and make a perception check.
because this would be a good place to hear things.
All right.
I figure any little noise will echo.
Yeah, and you do hear sort of a scratching noise, and you notice that there are there seem to be multiple points from which it's emanating. And as you kind of look at the walls, up and down the walls of this cavern, you see a number of small holes. They, in a sense, yes, but they
Like, as big as your palm or something.
they're a bit bigger than that, but they're considerably smaller than a grick hole.
They look like bees.
Would I know what they're from?
There is a possibility of that. Go ahead and make a nature check. All right. You're reasonably sure that these are at least portions of kobold burrows,
Oh,
Ooh.
which, I would say with that roll, you probably know everything that real life Becca knows about kobolds. So if you'd like to explain, feel free.
my mind is blanking on besides what they look like. So, if you want to explain.
They're actually not that big. They
They're tiny.
are. Yeah, they're more along the lines of like, gnome dwarf size. Maybe even a little bit smaller than that. And they're essentially small dragon folk.
That's who I'm rolling next if I have to.
I mean, they're essentially they are a species predicated on self-preservation. So yeah, I mean, not necessarily like evil, but
They're like Switzerland.
yeah, like if kind of, except as Maya will tell you with her somewhat intimate knowledge of kobolds, they do have a way of setting traps, not necessarily in a predatory sense, but more so that they could escape and then have a pursuer sort of get itself into trouble by running straight into a trap.
I suddenly become more perceptive towards traps. Yes.
Sure. That would be investigation.
Oh,
So,
nope.
All right. So yeah, keeping a watchful eye out as you continue forward. You don't see anything.
Shit.
Yeah. So
Was it loud enough to where I heard?
what was that?
what was that?
Was it loud enough to where I heard about the traps?
Yes. Being as you're next to Togar.
Alright.
Apprentices.
They did, and they
Or
don't
no.
seem all that surprised.
Was it?
Yeah.
Was it perception or investigation?
Investigation.
I got worse.
Trogdor is just absolutely fascinated by what he's hearing from Maya about the kobolds. Like
Dragon
they're
folk?
like
Dragon
they're
folk?
like me but small.
But do they still like starfruit?
You're just like leaving starfruit pieces in front of their holes.
I can imagine him showing it.
Yeah. You know what, can I do that? I want to stick just a bunch of little star fruit in front of some of the holes. Just like one in front of every few holes.
Okay.
I'll
Yeah,
use like
are you gonna like stop the party, or are you just gonna kind of watch as you go by and see what happens?
I think he's just kind of leaving it there.
He just wants to make friends.
I'm gonna leave it there and then like just kind of peek back while we're walking.
Okay, go ahead and make a perception check. You do manage with that roll to see just a tiny scaled clawed hand reach out and grab one of the pieces of starfruit.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean you've not. I mean, really, beyond that hand, you haven't even seen any actual trace of them beyond their burrows. So
I'm gonna nudge trap.
I guess I'll just say aloud in Draconic, because they were like lizard people, right?
they're essentially like very close to like a small dragonborn.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna say out loud in Draconic, not like screaming, but just slightly raised voice, saying that we are friends and just passing through.
Yeah, sure.
And we have stuff.
You kind of wait for a moment and see. Actually, go ahead and make a persuasion check.
Okay. Persuasion. Okay, it's not that bad.
It's not that bad. Yeah, it's not that bad.
No, I'm saying not bad, not bad because of the +3. Then I roll.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you keep walking for probably another like 30, 40 seconds. You know, you're not sure if they've actually like heard you because there's not really any response. And then this like tiny dragon-shaped head kind of pokes out of one of the holes, and in Draconic says, "Thanks for the snacks." Just ducks back in.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
He said thanks for the snack.
So you do think
Yes, it's Draconic. Most dragon and other scaly creatures usually speak that.
it's good to know. Is he a French? Seems like it.
Yeah, I guess I'll ask.
Killed them.
I guess I'll just say aloud again. Can we have safe passage through here without running into traps? We can offer you more starfruit.
Worth a shot.
All right. So again, it's a few moments before you see or hear anything, but eventually you do see again just like kind of one draconic-looking head poke back out. This time in a hole that's actually somewhat close to ground level, even a little bit under eye level for you, and it just kind of pokes its head out, and you can now kind of see like the actual form of this thing, and it's essentially it would be classified as a small humanoid. It's got this sort of reddish, scaly skin over a very much humanoid form. It's got sort of these like leather wraps around its wrists, and it kind of holds out both hands because, again, tiny hands.
So it's like bipedal.
Essentially, yeah.
I look over to them and say to give him a starfruit.
Is anybody giving him a starfruit?
I'd set down my bag and pull out a few more starfruit.
I'll pay for more if we need to.
All right. So yeah, it kind of grabs as many as it can take from you, which is probably like 3. And yeah, and after that, it just again in Draconic. So to everybody else, it just sounds like hissing and you know. But to Trogdor, it says, "Be safe, friend," and he ducks back in.
Okay.
What? You're not gonna help us?
I look up at Trigger. What did he say?
said friend and then just took off.
Oh, he said be safe, friend.
My speech.
No, I just figured Eric got cut off.
Could be.
Oh. So that's the most dad joke ever, it told me.
What?
I asked for safe passes, and all I did was say safe passes.
No, it just
No, it said be safe, friend.
If not, it's a bad joke. Alright, I guess we'll just move forward.
I
Alright.
hand Trogdor 3 more starfruit.
I eat one of them myself.
Yeah, I'll pass him some starfruit too.
I'll give Maya like 5 gold to put in the group funds to buy more starfruit.
Your choice. I'm too lazy to keep track of them now. Yeah. I'll eat one, also.
3 left.
One of them does seem to like turn back, like, well, that's interesting. But again, no, more or less unfazed.
I'm the lizard whisperer. Oh,
All right. So yeah, you continue on, and yeah, it's another probably hour and a half or so before you finally turn a corner and you can see what looks to be possibly the end of this canyon. Over the past hour and a half, you have walked past a number of what look to be ropes that have been let slack, and a number of holes that you suspect may have been covered not all that very long ago, but have since been cleared and exposed, and just generally made safer for passage of friendly entities.
yeah.
Or actually, I'll try to, like, is it big enough to set it,
Oh yeah.
stick it in there?
Okay.
I'll set one in another hole.
I'm setting another one in too. You guys are nice.
Yeah, hey.
How big are these holes?
They are, I mean, essentially, like, think big enough for like a 10 to 12-year-old human to crawl through.
So they're bungo sized.
Pretty much. So like what, 2.5 feet? Is it? Yeah, you're both small, aren't you? I thought gnomes were considered small.
Gnomes are fucking tiny.
Yeah.
No,
So yeah, you'd
gnomes
be able
are
to fit
small.
in there.
Bungo
Like-
wants to start crawling in a hole.
Okay. So yeah, you wait until you see one that's somewhat close to ground level, and yeah, you kind of scuttle up there. Go ahead and make either an acrobatics or an athletics check.
Alright.
Yes.
Not well, Eric. Not well.
So you start kind of scuttling up this hole that leads, from around ground level. It seems to go up into the the body of the cliffside a little bit more, and it's kind of slow going because it's kind of a steep incline, and as you start to just kind of reach the top and just sort of peek over, and you think you see something down there, maybe one of these kobolds actually like kind of hanging out in the tunnels. Your foot slips. And I would like you to go ahead and make a dex save. All right. I'd say that you start to slide down, but you are able to catch yourself, and so you could just proceed if you like.
Uh-huh.
All right. So yeah, you continue kind of making your way through the burrow. And mind you, it's close quarters, pretty dark.
I have dark vision.
Yes, you do, which is why you're able to see.
Yes.
Go ahead and make a perception check.
Wow.
Yes.
Christ.
Or wait.
What?
Yeah, no, you did not.
Oh. Jesus. Okay, I fucking thought that was my role for a second.
Yeah, but with that, I would say you're able to see there is in fact a reddish colored, basically a small dragonborn, hanging out at the end of the tunnel. Well, at least kind of an end of a tunnel. There are a number of kind of branching paths that lead out, but it's just sort of like cautiously watching you, like, what the hell are you doing, man?
Let me check something really quick.
Wait, do we see him go in there? Like, into it?
You can go ahead and make a perception check if you'd like.
Well, I wasn't really looking for it, so would my passive come into play?
Yeah, I'd say that's fair. Which
I wish I had grabbed a star fruit, but I didn't.
Well, my passive's a 15. Oh, gee.
Okay, yeah, I would say you probably at least heard Bungdo kind of start scurrying up into the burrow.
Are there any sticks or rocks next to me?
Oh no.
It's not going where you think it's going.
There are some kind of loose chunks of rock in the tunnels.
Okay, I grab one, and then using my quill, I draw a face on the rock, like make it a happy rock, and I offer it out to the thing as a gift.
I think of literally another dragonborn looks just like me in a little tiny suit of armor and everything. 2.5 feet tall.
By the way, I gave it a dragonborn face.
Okay.
Yell into his hole. He's friendly, don't mind him. That's it, Draconic.
Okay, yeah. So as Bungdo is doing this, you do hear kind of a louder, deeper, draconic voice, and it sort of looks over, kind of like peeking its head around to see maybe the source of this noise. And it kind of looks back at at Bungdo and is like cautiously proceeding forward, kind of like, all right. And so it eases up a little bit more, like slowly reaches out to grab the rock, picks it up, kind of looks at it, kind of gives Bungdo a confused look, but like not angry or
I just
provoked or
smile
anything.
at it.
Just like, why did you draw a face on a rock?
And with that, it just kind of whips around and takes off back into the tunnel.
No, are you stuck in it?
No, I'm perfectly fine.
And those of you outside the tunnels now hear this voice kind of coming from a hole that's about 15, 16 feet up off the ground.
Wait, can I get to that hole? Like, do I see it, or is it just?
I think that's you, right?
Yeah, that's like the closest one to you. So I would say it's probably the one that the kobold kind of turned his head around and was kind of listening through. So yeah, you could go there. I mean, it's easy enough. I'd
Yeah,
say
I
you could
crawl
probably
over
see
to
the
that
light coming
hole,
in.
and then I poke my head out.
Okay.
It's quite pleasant in here. Y'all should join me.
I'm a little too big.
I sigh and then jump out and try and land on Togar.
It's trying to land on
Yeah, so it's like right below me.
I would say the one that he entered through is probably a little bit back in the canyon. So you probably covered maybe 20 to 30 feet inside the cliff, and then you're coming out that much further ahead.
Ah.
I don't.
Somebody come catch me.
Trogdor.
Alright, I stand underneath as best as I can and then brace for the catch.
Okay.
No. My shield and
Alright.
flail are hosted.
There you go. So I would like Bungdo to make an acrobatics check, and then Trogdor to make an athletics check.
Oh, you better roll a nat 20.
Close enough?
That's good enough. I was just gonna take the higher of the two. So yeah, that's fine. So yeah, Bungdo just kind of like flops out of the hole. And yeah, so he's just kind of like falling almost head first down out of this cliffside, and Trogdor just kind of sees this, kind of shuffles a bit to like get in position, and just grabs like one hand on each leg and just kind of like flips him over and sets him down.
I was hoping he'd catch me.
His robe come up over his head so he can see his gnome bits.
I mean, technically you're kind of the one in control of that, so if you'd like to.
No.
I've seen a lot of Bundo's bits.
I shouldn't do that.
You know you like it.
I don't know how I would feel about that. I will make sure, or try my best not to have that.
Okay. Well, yeah, I would say you're kind of able to bunch the robe up kind of in your hands as you catch him by the legs and just kind of flip him over, send him down on the ground unharmed.
Woo!
Do any of the kobolds want to try that? I think it looks fun.
You don't see any of them jumping out to do it, so.
I just shut up. I'll catch you in Draconic.
Doesn't seem like you have any takers.
Aww. Nobody wants to be the macho. Say the first one to jump out gets a star fruit. Yeah, and I'm then offering the star fruit to them.
Go ahead and make a persuasion check.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Jesus.
They're gonna be like fucking lemmings.
They're gonna be like seagulls on a beach. You just throw a bunch of food and they swarm.
I'll just do whatever.
All right, so you hear kind of this scratching sound in the wall, and sort of this. It's almost like mumbling, bickering in Draconic. So nobody except Trogdor can really understand, and all Trogdor can really make out just because of how distant and sort of quiet it is at this point. It's like, no, it's mine. No, mine. It's mine. And they're just like, you can kind of get the impression that they're just like clawing at each other, and eventually, one red scaled form just comes like shooting out of one of the holes.
I'll hold the star fruit up so he can try and snatch it as he's jumping over.
Pretty much, it's like flying leap out of the hole, which for a small being means maybe he'll get to the halfway point of the canyon.
You know what?
Can I try to catch him?
Sure. Yeah, go ahead and make an athletics check.
Can I make an acrobatics check instead?
Ooh,
Since I'm probably not right underneath him, so I'll have to.
I would say go ahead and roll a d20, add your dex modifier. A little different.
Check them.
Okay, yeah, that's not bad. So yeah, you are able to seeing Trogdor just kind of holding the fruit up in the air, not really responding to the fact that there's a kobold just kind of falling. Maya jumps into action and just in the nick of time kind of manages to flip over and just gracefully catch this kobold and just all in one fluid motion just kind of set it back down on the ground. It does kind of just look at Maya for a second,
How wrong is that?
that wasn't you, was it? And then it looks over to Trogdor and just kind of runs over and starts hopping up and down, trying to grab the star fruit.
But I look back down at it and in Draconic say, "Will you be my friend as well?"
Sure.
I hold the star fruit in my right arm, kind of like a football, and then with my left arm, I reach down like I want him to climb up onto my arm and sit on my shoulder.
All right. All right. So kind of gingerly, it does grab onto one of the joints in your armor and kind of haul itself up, and just kind of sit there. It's almost like well, I mean, it's basically like a little kid. So kind of sitting one leg on each shoulder, kind of thing.
All right, I'm gonna hand it up the star fruit, and then carry it along with us.
Okay, and you just hear it tear into the star fruit, Okay. Go ahead and make a perception check. Yeah, there are a number, kind of just poking out all around the valley. Okay. So yeah, the first one that you come to, again, you see it kind of just cautiously watching, and then as you hold out the starfruit, it just kind of shoots a hand out and tries to grab it out of your hand. Are you reacting in any way? Or just okay.
No,
All right. So yeah, just grabs it and just yeah.
I want to say to the one that's on my shoulders, Draconic, if he stays, that he can have more star fruit. Yes. But they're sentient enough so I don't have to do animal handling.
They're kind of like in disbelief, just like, what the hell are these guys doing?
Don't ask.
I'm bringing this guy along with us. You'll have an endless supply of starfruit if he stays.
No, he ain't gonna. Why? He's been giving away like.
That was to a bunch of them. I'll feed this guy with my own money if I have to. As long as he wants to stay, I'll feed him.
I'm gonna create a little set of armor.
Yes.
Make him into a little room.
All right. And in the meantime, the kobold's just kind of sitting up on Trogdor's shoulders, just munching on starfruit.
Yeah. This is awesome. Oh, I haven't asked him yet. I look up at him and ask him what his name is in Draconic.
All right. Let's see here. All right. In between, like, yeah, big munches of starfruit. It's like, Kex. Yeah. So it's
Like Gecko, but Kex.
like that.
Kobold. How do I make a note on my character sheet? Putting in my features and traits has a friend named Kex.
Oh,
Yeah.
You can see, by the way, that as Kex is kind of sitting out in the sun, he gets a little bit squinty. Like, whole direct sunlight thing is kind of not his bag.
Oh. Let's see. Damn it, I don't have another barrel I could just carry him in. Just like have like the lid slightly off so it's covered up most of the light, but giving him air still.
I'll take out my scarf and put it on top of his head,
Okay.
kind of like a turban.
Oh, can we put my little tail bow on him? Like around his neck, kind of like a bow tie? Yeah. I still got my jester head on.
Oh, can I
Alright.
put my my pink what's it? My pink hat on it. What's it called? I'm in a brain fart now.
Your... No, it's like it's a hijab, right?
I wrote it down. Yeah, hijab. My pink hijab. I put my pink hijab on the creature on Brown's arm.
This is awesome.
Okay, he's a little, yeah, and he's like a little leery of the whole prospect, but you know, it's shade. He'll deal with it. Yeah.
Well, if he has her hijab, he doesn't really need my scarf, so I'll take it back.
Okay.
We'll have to
So
get
you
him
know-
some light clothes.
Yeah. he's got like a little loincloth, but you know, it's
Rub it
all you
against
got
the
is
back
a
of my neck.
loincloth, and yeah, kinda. He's basically got this like little tattered loincloth thing, but that's about it.
He said he joined. That's why he's on my shoulders.
I didn't hear that.
Hold the more you know. I guess I'll look up to it and ask it, Draconic, how long do you plan on staying with us?
Just kind of answers back in this sort of like squeaky draconic dialect, like, how much starfruit you got?
Depends on how much you'll need to eat a day.
This is gonna come out. Oh, yeah.
Yo, Chimpo. Pay it starfruit to attack things. It'll be like that.
Christ.
How much would a kobold need to eat?
I mean, probably less than your standard humanoid, so I mean, like maybe half a pound of food a day.
Let's see. Starfruit weighs 0.2, so okay, I'll feed him like 3-ish starfruit a day if that's all I need to do.
What would Bungdo need to do to dehydrate starfruit? Like, while we
Like
travel?
dried starfruit.
Mhm.
Hmm.
What would that entail?
Probably be
Good
2
question.
days to a week. Aren't they
I
already?
think they would.
Let's see. Yeah. So
I mean, we're out in the desert. It might be a couple of days.
yeah, that's true.
Well, isn't it a desert fruit? So it's already kind of like dry and waxy.
It's a tropical.
Oh, okay.
Hide.
mhm.
And it's not attached to anything to replenish its water supply.
Well, good thing it's in the bag of holding.
Yeah.
Mm. Pretty cheap, huh? I'm not against spending a lot of money into starfruit. I'm addicted to that stuff too.
Just
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Open a store, all types of starfruit, food and drinks.
Clothes with starfruit pictures on it.
chocolate. Worse there.
Called the Radiant Starfruit. So yeah, I'll just respond to it saying we have plenty more where that came from, enough to feed you each day.
So Bungdo asks Maya for like 3 starfruit.
I put my bag down and get 3 starfruit.
Alright, I start dehydrating them.
Okay. Just kind of what, like holding them in your hand and having produce flame in the other hand, like.
Well, I don't. That's more cooking. I think it'd take longer. So I have a herbalism kit, and I assume that you'd have to like dry out herbs, right?
Yeah.
So would there be something for that inside the herbalism kit?
Yeesh.
You carry it on your
A
shoulders.
drying rack, but
Just
something of
cut
the
it
sort.
into strips and tie it on you.
That's the plan.
The sun should just
Okay.
take it
So
out. You shouldn't
I
need anything.
tie it to the top of my staff.
Thunder.
That's fair. We do that.
That could work.
We can do that.
Sun-dried starfruit.
We should advertise it as moon-dried starfruit.
Oh, I don't like it.
Yeah, Kex doesn't seem to have any objections.
We
Let me know when
have
the
many more
starfruit
members.
is hydrated. I assume it'll be a few days.
Yeah, it'll be a while.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I want to tell them his name's pronounced Cox. Yeah. To make it seem like the Kex that you have some weird accent, you can't pronounce it right.
Okay. Listen, we don't speak.
All right. So yeah, the apprentices keep kind of not so subtly continuing on, trying to get you all to keep going towards your mission. They seem to be a rather serious bunch. Although one of them does kind of crack a smile when he turns back and sees the kobold just sitting on the Trogdor's shoulders. Yeah.
Eating through it.
So what?
Somehow we always have characters that just end up looking like trolly Dark Souls builds. All right. So yeah, you continue on, and since you're now even able to see the end of the canyon, it's not very long before you all sort of emerge and see. Let's see. Let me clear my notes off of this page. Okay. So, finally, you are all able to see something similar to what Trogdor had seen earlier in the day, which is that.
Okay. Now I get
Impressive architecture.
Is it just
It's just reddish. It's largely just the color of the light, kind of the way it hits the sand. It doesn't seem like particularly sinister in and of itself.
Looks like
It's yeah.
I want to ask the Cobalt and Draconic if it's ever been here or heard about this.
He just says nope.
I'll give you a star fruit if you tell the truth.
If what?
If he tells the truth.
All right, he holds out his hand.
I give him another one.
So he like crunches into it. Nope.
Damn it. Okay. I guess we're moving on.
All right. So yeah, the apprentices kind of continue on almost without hesitation. I mean, they take in the sight and keep right on going, approaching the some sort of entrance or thing. um, all right, and the closest one in this case is
Barnabas.
the closest one here is probably Barnabas, and he's I'm afraid not. I haven't been to this part of the desert before, at least not beyond the canyon. So yeah, they sort of continue leading you on. Strangely quiet out in this general area. I mean, not in the absolutely silent sense, but just even like it seems like the number of is just drastically lower than what you might have seen elsewhere. I mean, granted, it's a desert, it's barren, but it's just oddly silent. Maybe it's the effect of going out into this open space after having been in this confined canyon between these two walls for so long. Maybe it's something else, but it's just, I don't know, seems very still, quiet. So you make your way up to the kind of face of this plateau that spire seems to rest. And you're faced with this large hole with what looks to be a large stone kind of just wedged into it. There's practically no room to bypass or barely even to get a grasp on the stone.
How big is this?
How big is the stone?
Yeah, that's wedged into the hole.
Probably 10 to 12 feet tall.
Oh, yeah. I was just saying I'll smash it out of it, but that ain't gonna work. Whew. What now? Any suggestions, my friend?
As well, I can dig. Yeah, sure. All right. From a material sense, it does seem like it's just a rock. There is sort of this dull magical aura that seems to exude from really the entire exterior of the structure. Yeah, go ahead and that for stone cunning. Is that like a history check? Okay. Okay. All right. So yeah, kind of eyeing this over. Seems to be made primarily of like sandstone.
Oh. You tell us this?
Yes. Actually, it's apparently since shouldn't be too hard to.
I reach up and pick the guy up off my shoulders and set him down, and I say, "Stand back for a moment, my friend," and then I want to take out my flail and smack it.
All right. Go ahead and roll an attack.
Nope.
I wouldn't play. Whips it at it, it hits.
But sandstone's brittle.
Give it.
I wasn't
Yeah, so-
expecting a single.
Trogdor lets out this like battle cry, like "Roar!" Just swings at the rock, and yeah, there's like a little chip, like the size of like one of the spikes on the flail, kind of thing. And in the meantime, Kex is just over there, like.
So, can I try using my monk wisdom to take my staff and ask Togar where a weak spot in the rock might be, and to try and strike that spot with my staff to see if I can help shatter it?
Okay, go ahead and make an intelligence check. And really, I would say you could probably double your proficiency bonus for this as well. All right. I mean, it seems like a pretty solid piece of rock. I mean, best you could guess, maybe you go for the part that's already been at least slightly compromised by Trogdor.
Come on.
I'm gonna try and hit it with my staff
Okay.
to see if I can crack it.
Whole boulder just turns
That's
to
the only
dust.
thing that happened last time. Does a 10 hit a rock?
In that precise
I would
spot.
say it certainly makes contact. It doesn't really seem to have any visible effect, though.
Okay.
Octa's gonna stab the spot where Trogdor's hammer had hit, like that little chip there. She's gonna start stabbing it with their dagger.
Can't believe we're all doing this. No one's coming up with a better idea.
Well, you know, I liked the Bungo's wall challenge so much last time. I just had to throw another one at you, right? Okay. So yeah, you do at least. It appears that there's at least a kind of a hairline crack forming, just branching out from the point where Trogdor made his minimal contact with her.
Something to
For Smith's tool, probably not.
Can I
This
smack
Emmerich
it with
with
a
the
bag of
warp.
holding?
What?
Can I smack it with my bag of holding?
You'll rip our
Sure.
bag.
Hit absorbs the whole
Yeah.
rock. GG. No.
Can I try? Can I pull out the small anvil and ask Togar and Trogdor if they could throw it at the rock?
I would think a pointy surface would focus more than a flat one.
Do I have anything in my kits that could help melt rock?
Melt rock.
Yeah, that's acidic. I
Probably
do
not
have a
something.
poisoner's kit.
Yeah, probably not something that potent.
Oh, what the fuck am I tripping balls?
What? Any of the potions you picked up would help?
That would be a negative.
Are you sure?
Is there a dance of rock breaking?
Dance of
All right. Well, while you guys are game planning, I'm gonna let Sadie out real quick.
That would not be well advised right now. No, I mean more than you realize. Hmm? My ear is officially wet.
I mean, we could just repeatedly hit the rock.
You pee on it. I mean, pee's acidic, right?
he's not a dragon.
Fire. What? Well, if you want to heat it up, I could do it. I can shoot lightning. It's hotter than fire.
Well, what the fuck are you waiting for? Do it.
I have produce flame.
I mean, if a lightning strikes a rock, can't it split it?
Probably.
All right, fucking god here.
I am a paladin.
Okay, Thor. He's used quite a few spells. Yeah.
Cure wounds.
I think he had like some beam attack too or something.
What was it?
Like, I thought he used like Scorching Ray or something before too. I don't know. I don't know. What do you have, Bungdo? What spells do you have?
I have ice knife. I have produce flame. That's a cantrip. And you're talking about like other spells?
Yeah.
I have absorb elements, lesser restoration, find traps, enhance ability, healing word. Produce
Absorb
flame,
element,
all those
absorb the rock.
cantrips. No, it's spell captures incoming energy.
Yeah, I was just joking, but
Yes, it is. Because basically it absorbs incoming energy and then takes that absorbed energy and applies it to my next attack. Yeah, I
Yeah.
actually should start using it.
I
That's
think I get that soon on my ranger?
Instead, catch a spell.
Well, how's it going?
kind of just
Okay.
Octa stabs the rock again in frustration.
I don't think it's
Okay, go and roll an attack.
Eric.
All right. Yeah, it seems to at least expand the cracks a little bit. It seems like you're making a little bit of progress.
How thick? 2 feet.
I mean, really, you don't have any way of knowing from where you are.
Oh, wait.
Probably more along the lines of a wall.
Okay. Or if it's
Yeah, no, it at least seems intentionally designed in a way. Like, maybe the boulder was designed to fit in the hole rather than the hole just being a result of the boulder hitting something.
So it seems like it's of intelligent design.
Well, I want to stop all rock opening and destroying and relay the message that I just had a voice in my mind directed towards me. It specifically said, and I quote, "Go, my chosen, and guard this great power from the enemies of your realm." So, the guy above is telling me to guard this?
Must be drugs.
I don't know if we're supposed to be guarding this whole area or if we're supposed to be guarding something on the inside.
see if you can open the rocks.
I guess I'm just gonna touch it with my hand.
So Trogdor reaches out and rests his hand on the stone. And nothing seems to happen.
Gotta hide.
Sure, go ahead and make an investigation check.
I want to do a divine sense as well to make sure if this is something that's potentially holy.
Okay. Togar, you do not see any sort of handhold. Nope. I mean, in the sense that you can see that it's not just a wall of stone and that there is a hole here that is filled, but not like you can't see past it or anything, if that's what you're getting at.
Not like full route.
Yeah, not really.
Can I insight check the rock?
I mean, it's lying on the ground.
So what are you inquiring about with the rock?
I want to see if it's lying to us and it has a hidden way to open it.
You can certainly try.
I want to try. For no reason. I had an 18. That's not good enough, is it?
Yes,
Yeah,
the rock is not divulging any of its deep, dark secrets to you.
Oh.
Got quite the poker face.
Yeah, what are we doing? We're like checking.
It's facing.
You
could
don't
say
know
stone
that I
cold?
insight checked the rock. Oh no, I just really felt like insight checking the rock for no reason.
Maya does not smell what the rock is cooking. Gonna be like Vox Machina and the Doors all over again.
Did I sense this was holy ground?
You sense just immediately on the other side of the door stone thing, and really kind of surrounding the entire perimeter of this this kind of protruding landmass, there is a familiar kind of holy protection aura to it. But then, just kind of on the fringes, maybe not even directly within your range of sensation, but you're kind of able to just glean something from just beyond. It almost seems as though there is a certain dark energy at the center of it.
Oh.
Like,
Wow.
it's trying to keep in check the dark energy? Or...
Can I just say, like, within my mind, trying to, like, shout back towards another voice, what am I supposed to be protecting this from? A giant platinum dragon comes out of the sky.
No, the rock comes to life.
I insight checked the rock, it's not sentient.
How dare you assume that skill check?
Sure, you assume.
Don't mind me while I'm licking some ears.
Oh! Can I smell what the rock is cooking?
Yum.
Smells like
Actually-
dragonborn flesh.
What did that evil smell like on the other side? Because that's how I detect it, is I smell it.
Smells like a
It's really old and musty.
like an old man.
Like some 9-year-old dude just shit his pants in front of your nose.
Ooh.
Sometimes
Oh.
you can smell roses.
No, I fear roses.
Your farts don't smell like roses back.
How do you know?
not a
Have you
thing.
smelled them?
Exactly. You can't smell like roses.
Science.
So no, if girls can't fart, then her farts can't smell like roses because they don't exist.
Exactly.
They smell like rainbows.
That's why there's no unicorns. Does that mean the first girls farted a lot?
Well, I'm not gonna lie. If farts from women spawn unicorns, I think my sister has single-handedly replenished the unicorn population.
How dare you assume her gender?
I'm not gonna get two of them.
Oh Christ, don't remind me.
Uncle Phil.
There's 3 of her.
Oh
now.
my God, Uncle Phil is one of them named Will Smith.
I literally am Uncle Phil. I'm fucked.
Oh, no.
Christ.
It's canon now. It's canon.
I'll just finish wiping my ear from it being wet. And then I say I just got another message saying there's an artifact inside that we have to protect. We must obtain it. We must. Keep I just...
Alright. No response.
Octa
I
farts
still-
and points at Trogdor.
I still suggest that we try to lightning the rock.
I'm gonna hold out my holy symbol, try and divine energy through it to maybe open the way.
Alright. So. Okay. Trogdor steps up. This holy symbol. Even though there's kind of the sense of he kind of doesn't have a clue what the hell he's doing, he's just holding it up and pointing it at a rock and hoping for the best. There is sort of this glow to the symbol. He stands there and focuses the rock, and 30 seconds, minute goes by.
Something happened.
As Trogdor is just standing there maintaining his prayerful concentration, you do eventually hear, and eventually the stone just recedes back into the face of the cliff, folding down into some crevice that seems to be designed to fold back into.
Octa goes to Trogdor and kind of points at the holy signet he's holding up, and just says, "Huh, what a nice key you have there."
I look at Trogdor. How the fuck?
It's the power of Bahamut that allowed me to open this door. It was from what I can assume, some kind of holy barrier. No.
That sounds good to me.
Alright. Yeah, totally.
Octa burst into flames the moment she walks in.
You'll find out shortly.
I hope not.
Guess who's rolling a new character?
So, I'm assuming you go in.
Yeah. I'm leading the way.
Okay. Alright.
Octa will
I
continue
will-
to take up the rear.
I will
Alright.
also follow in the rear with Octa.
Okay. And at this point, kind of not having been able to really contribute to the situation that much, the apprentices just sort of file in behind you like, oh, alright, you guys seem to have some clue what the hell you're doing.
But then we're not in the rear.
You'll grab the cock.
Well, yeah, if any of you would like to be behind the apprentice, you're certainly welcome. Just, they are not by any means leading the way at this point.
I want to be behind the apprentices.
Okay.
It'd be
Yes,
like the
we are
same
leading up
order,
the
but
rear.
I'm in front now instead of right behind them. Oh, okay.
Me cocks. Taylor likes to grab cocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just kind of standing there watching. So yeah, you enter this structure, what may be. And as you all kind of file in, you see in front of you just this dark chamber. It's difficult to make out what it even is, even with dark vision, because of the sheer depth of the chamber. You can see immediately upon entry, you can see that it does seem to be a designed chamber, not just a naturally occurring cavern or sort. There is a great deal of care evident in the masonry, the stonework of the sandstone floor tiles, and a number of large pillars that, as they rise up from the floor, you see a number of different draconic faces sort of emerging from each side, each face of the pillar.
I recognize any like language of any sorts.
You don't see any written language at this point, no. You just see evidently massive space opening up before you, and as the last of the group kind of files in, a number of torches that were just sitting unlit on the walls, just, and they gradually make their way, lighting 2 by 2, one on each side, simultaneously, illuminating this whole chamber in front of you. And you see, after probably a dozen or so just rows of these columns and torches, there is a large statue of massive draconic form just standing at the other end of the chamber. It looks like a dragon, yes. Yes.
Is this something I could have potentially have heard of as a paladin? Maybe this is some kind of statue made Bahamut's name, or maybe even Tiamat's.
Could I have heard about it too?
Go ahead and make religion checks. I would say Maya's would probably have advantage.
Oh.
I'm proficient in religion.
Not as proficient as me. Trogdor's in a serious mode.
All right. So this, best you can tell, it closely lines up with something that it's been discussed in church circles and circles of the worship of Bahamut, but never really acknowledged. You've heard stories of
Heard stories of what?
You've heard stories of a number of locations around the world where followers of Platinum Dragon have sealed away certain items that they deemed unfit for use by, or that Bahamut himself deemed unfit for use by mortal. Seems like it may be one of those places.
Is there? I want to walk over towards that big statue.
Okay. And has Trogdor told this to the party, or are you just kind of proceeding forward?
Yeah, I guess I'll relay that I've heard of it, and that, I mean, I did say there was some kind of object here that we were supposed to obtain.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just say that I've heard of areas like this. Well, I already said that we're supposed to obtain it. We need to get there anyways. So I'll just explain it more later. Just, I'm trying to get in a hurry and go.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'll be back.
I could cast Produce Flame on it.
Then who made the story? Who were told the story? Sounds like make believe to me.
While I'm walking
It's like,
up,
it's like being an atheist in the D&D world.
Yeah. Believe in God.
No, that was almost exactly like actually like a movie quote right there.
Yeah.
does it count towards me since I'm sort of an atheist IRL, but then playing D&D?
All right. So what's Trogdor doing?
Flail in one hand, and then is my shield? Is it like kind of like a gauntlet, or do I hold it?
I would say it's something that you have to hold.
All right, I guess I'll have that like on my back or side or whatever I can hold it onto, and I'll have my holy symbol in the other hand. Later.
Okay. So Trogdor proceeds forward, flail in one hand, holy symbol in the toward
Yep.
this. Okay.
I mean,
So,
I follow too.
all right. As you make your way deeper into this chamber, you realize, finally, as you approach, like the massive size of this thing. The statue that you're looking at probably stands 40, 50 feet high, and is just flanked by these large, seemingly just ever-burning lights. You don't even see torches or anything. They're just these balls of light that sit behind the statue. 3 of them on each side, and 1 directly above.
No, we have to get something that's being held in here. There was a holy barrier around this whole place. Nothing would have been in. So we are the only ones that are in here. I would think they would already know. Automatons?
I don't think we're gonna get killed.
Well, I have no idea if there's any of that stuff here.
Anyways,
My presence is already known, and I walk forward.
Okay. So what specifically are we doing now?
I'll remain a few steps behind Trogdor.
Okay.
Bungdo just hangs back slightly more.
I maintain my rear position.
All right. And the apprentices sort of just they follow, but not quite as closely as like Maya and sort of kind of between, like probably around where Bungdo is. And they seem to take on a very humble, respectful manner as they enter. They
better. My God will smite them. I'm doing what he told me to.
So Trogdor continues his approach. Once you're nearing the end of the chamber, what would you like to do?
I want to inspect for the artifact.
All right. Go ahead and make a perception check. All right. Looking around, you don't see anything that really looks like a place where something of that nature would be kept. You just see pillars kind of lining, torches lining the walls, and massive statue of the dragon framed by the seemingly divine lights behind and above it.
Oh, we're not like underneath it?
No.
Oh, I want to keep going.
Okay. Well,
wanna-
you go ahead.
I just want to keep going until I find anything of interest.
All right. Well, you reach the far rear of this chamber, and you don't see anything beyond what I just mentioned to you. I mean, you're practically at the feet of the dragon, and
There's no like switches or anything.
nope.
I touch the dragon and try to channel my divine power, the holy symbol again. Maybe it's another switch.
This time, you don't feel it moving or anything of that sort. But now there's this loud, booming voice that actually echoes throughout the chamber, so everyone now is able to hear. Who disturbs the tomb of you?
Tomb of who?
Joe.
Let me type that. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, was it in common or draconic?
It was in common.
Alright, I'm just gonna.
It does look like that, looking at in that font, but actually, it's.
Well, it's funny because I was said Joe, and I was waiting for him to say like Joe who or something. I was like Joe Mama.
Okay.
I'm just gonna shout out. What?
So it's already all.
Alright.
Yeah.
I'll just shout out that I'm a paladin of Bahamut, and he has called forth and told me to obtain the artifact to protect it from our enemy.
And this booming voice again just erupts. And the others.
They are my friends. They are here to help me.
I'm looking for cave mushrooms.
Don't mind him.
voice once again rings out. Great evil is sealed away behind this. Should you prove yourselves and put it to rest once more, you shall prove yourselves worthy of the artifact contained within.
And cave mushrooms?
Can I just step in front of Bungdo in between him and the voice? I don't know, the dragon.
I think this voice is omnipresent.
Yeah, the voice itself is just like
Oh.
throughout the chamber, but
Can I back up and accidentally set my staff on Bungdo's foot?
sure.
Can certainly try.
I mean, are you gonna try a dex save? Like,
Fuck yeah. I really want to know if there's cave mushrooms. It's my
All
right
right.
as an adventurer.
what should I roll, Eric?
Go ahead and 20. And then Bungdo, go ahead and just make a dex save.
God
Ooh.
damn it.
Your foot's gone.
Not like super hard, just kind of kicking someone under the table kind of thing.
Okay.
Like a mind your manners kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, sort of.
What?
All right. And so, voice rings out again. Chosen of Bahamut. Do you have faith in those you bring with?
I have absolute faith in my entire group.
And very poor judgment.
So be it. And simultaneously, the stone at the far end of the chamber that folded back to let you in begins folding back up to seal you in this chamber. At the same time, the massive dragon statue before you begins to rumble and looks as though it starts to slide forward. You hear the scraping of stone on stone as some sort of divine energy just scoots it forward, revealing now a passage that was concealed behind the statue.
Okay. I was terrified we're gonna fight a dragon.
A giant evil dragon.
That was petrified previously.
That could be interesting.
Like Tiamat's general.
Oh no, I'm giving the DM ideas.
Wow.
Are we gonna keep going, or are we ending? Because it is 10, and it's a good spot if people need to go.
Yeah, given that I know at least one of you go, say we can pick it up from here next time.
Alright.
Okay.
Who the fuck's leaving?
Pretty much.
Okay, Batman.
Yes, it's fair. And usually it's me. I was making a joke. Motherfucker.
What?
You son of a bitch. I'm giving you shit. It's
would.
okay. Go have fun. Be social.
You would cancel D&D plans and make plans with Andy.
He goes to suffer. Honestly, it's too meta. Leaving. Making plans. Where are you going?